Hey, I'm Dan from Dad's Car Care, and today I'm going to be walking you through the steps of removing a water pump on a 3.6 Acadia. The first thing we're going to need to do is get the vehicle into the work area, and to do so we're going to need our safety glasses. Now that our safety glasses are on, we can bring the vehicle in and raise it on a lift or hoist. The first thing we're going to do after we've got it securely raised on the lift and down on the stops is we're going to use our 1/2-inch impact and our 22mm socket to remove the right front wheel from the vehicle. Once the right front wheel is removed from the vehicle, we are then going to obtain access to the water pump. Now first we're going to need our 1/4-inch ratchet and shallow 10mm socket to break free the 4 bolts that hold the pulley onto the water pump. Once these 4 bolts are broken free, we can then grab our 15mm wrench and loosen up the tensioner. We're going to twist counterclockwise on the tensioner so that way the belt is able to slip off with ease. Once the belt is off, we can get that out of our way and then move on to working on our water pump. Again, we're going to need that same 1/4-inch ratchet and shallow 10mm socket so that we can access the 6 bolts that hold the pump to the housing. Now that we have those 6 bolts removed, we're going to go ahead and grab our pry bar to pop the pump out. Now it's always important to make sure that you have a drain pan ready to catch the excessive coolant, as you do not want to damage the environment with coolant. So you got to make sure that you have proper disposal methods ready. Now that we have the pump out, we're going to need something to clean up that gasket surface. No, Ron, we don't need a torch. My preference is a razor blade, although some may use a gasket scraper or even just a simple screwdriver. Once your gasket case is cleaned up and ready to go, we can then apply RTV to the gasket of the new water pump. We're going to do a thin layer, that way we just have enough to stick it to the pump for ease of installation. Now that we have that out, we're going to put the pump up into the vehicle and start those same 6 10mm bolts. Not with a hammer. We're going to use our 1/4-inch ratchet and shallow 10mm socket. Now that we have those in, we can tighten them down all evenly to make sure we have good squeeze on the gasket. And then we can move on to installing our pulley. We're going to again use the 1/4-inch ratchet and 10mm socket to install the 4 pulley bolts. And once they're installed, we can then move on to installing the belt. We're going to reroute it based off of the routing diagram supplied by the manufacturer, and then go ahead to use our 15mm wrench, again in the counterclockwise motion, to pull away from the tensioner, and that way give ourselves the opportunity to slide the belt back on with ease. No, Ron, we don't need a torch now either. I know, no fun, but that's the reality of her. Now that we have that in and our belt is on, we're ready to bleed our cooling system. We're going to use just regular 50-50 mixed coolant, and we're just going to idle the vehicle with the cap off of the cooling system. Now that our cooling system is bled, we're ready to seal up the system and finish off the job. Thank you for your time, and I hope your water pump installation has gone well. This has been Dan from Dad's Car Care. I'd just like to take a moment to thank my sponsors, Budweiser, Kalashnikov, FI Tech, Jigs. We got ARP, and we have Comp Cams as well. We'd also like to thank Coleman for supplying the torch, and Snap-on for supplying all of the hand tools and pneumatic tools used today. And also Tannerite. Thank you, and have a good one.